Welcome, everyone. Hope all of you are having a good one. John here, number one DeFi podcast on YouTube. Today, we're going to be talking about a few things regarding the markets that we had last week. Last week, we did have some bombs being dropped in some countries. I'm not going to go ahead and go too deeply into it, but all of you should know with that event, which went ahead and caused a market correction during that time over the weekend. But now it looks like things are going back to normal, right? Things like nothing ever happened. Looking all across the board right now, crypto bubbles, we see on the weekly, Say has been performing really, really well at 82% pump. I'm not sure if any of you remember, but a few weeks ago, I was mentioning to consider looking into Say because it looked like it was at a near bottom. But Say currently right now is the one token that is currently outperforming everything. But Arrow is also doing pretty good, and we also do see a few other tokens that I really don't know of, but on the weekly, things are a little bit more neutral. Like I said, a lot of recovery from what we saw over the weekend. On the daily, all across the board, we see a little bit of green, nothing too crazy. As I mentioned, today was a little bit more stagnant news. We'll talk a little bit about that today. Not really much to talk about, to be completely honest, too. But looking at the hourly right now, we do see a little bit of green coming across the board, and that could definitely be due to the fact that we had those positive news today, or I should say yesterday, regarding the whole entire thing with ceasefire. I believe that was today or yesterday. And that's why now we're seeing a cool off period in the market. I actually went ahead and placed a trade on Bitcoin. I was actually shorting it, and I actually went ahead and entered a long. So it did get wrecked out of my position on my short, but luckily I was able to go ahead and pivot and switched over to a long on Bitcoin. So I currently am long on Bitcoin, but we'll talk about Bitcoin right now shortly. Taking a look at the fear and greed chart, we do see that currently right now we are at 66 at greed. Yesterday we were at 65. Last week we were at a neutral at 52, and last month we were at 73 on greed once again. The next update will come in the next 23 hours, but as we see, we do see a little bit more positive momentum in the market than we have seen in the last couple of days. Now, on to the first couple of news that I came across. So Chainlink and MasterCard went ahead and partnered to go ahead and allow 3 billion cardholders to now go ahead and purchase crypto. So this seems like this is some sort of integration that they went ahead and did with Shift4 Payments, Swapper Finance, XSwap, and Zero Hash. So pretty good things. MasterCard has definitely been collaborating with a lot of other platforms. As you see, MasterCard partnered up with Coinbase back in October of 2024. So a lot of partnerships have been with a lot of these crypto platforms, and also American Express has actually partnered up with Coinbase's new card. I'm sure we'll talk about that in the future. But if you guys are on the Coinbase app, some of you might have seen that. But yeah, American Express crypto card for crypto users, which is really, really cool. But yeah, Chainlink, MasterCard, we've been seeing this all across the board. Pretty positive news. Now, one thing that I was like, wow, this is kind of crazy. Turkey tightens on crypto rules with source to go ahead and check the reason why people are making transfers. So I was looking a little bit into this article, and it turns out that moving forward, they're going to go ahead and start to crack down on when people are making transfers, and they're going to have to go ahead and mention, why they're making that transfer, the reason being. And as you see, it says users will be limited to $3,000 per day and $50,000 per month on stablecoin transfers. And this is all regarding to go ahead and minimize money laundering laws and things like that. But yeah, Turkey is getting pretty hard on this with cryptocurrency. So really interesting how things go there, but that seems a little wild. I'm glad we don't have to deal with that problem, and I hope many of you don't either. So let's go on to stock market. So NASDAQ hits record high as yields fall on Powell's market wrap. We'll talk a little bit about that, but not much going on there. Now, let's go ahead and take a look into the market itself. So let's go ahead and start off with the NASDAQ. So NASDAQ is doing really, really well. We're getting near that all-time high. I don't know why they said all-time high. We're like on it. Tomorrow should be the day that we start to see this breakout on the NASDAQ. So really, really good time to be in the market. Very excited. Honestly, I was really hoping we would have seen this correction all the way down over here. To be completely honest, I definitely wanted to see that 3% move because I did want to scoop up a little bit more onto some more stocks and also some cryptocurrencies. But it seems like the stock market will now continue to go on higher. Now, of course, this could all change depending if there's anything regarding any kind of wars or any missiles being dropped throughout the days. But as of right now, market is looking very positive, and I do expect this continuation to continue. So stock market's looking very positive overall. We're going to be getting close to making that new all-time high and setting new record highs for the NASDAQ and the rest of the market. Now let's go ahead and take a look at gold. Right now, gold is a little bit stagnant right now. We do see some support at around the $3,200 range. Gold right now, we'll see how it holds. So far, gold has been in this uptrend, surprisingly, and crypto has also been doing pretty well. Usually it doesn't work that way. Usually it's the opposite. Gold goes up, crypto goes down. So it's a little bit not as correlated as it was these last couple months. But we do see right now gold holding itself at around this $3,200 range. But the key important thing we want to keep our eyes on is on Bitcoin. So looking at Bitcoin right now, currently we do see Bitcoin is at 106,378. We did break past this resistance at around this 104, 105. So things are looking a lot more exciting than they were looking for Bitcoin these last couple of days. Now, let's keep in mind that Bitcoin is still at an area of resistance. And realistically speaking, we would like to see Bitcoin exit out of this 107, 108 to have this continuation to the upside. So currently right now with Bitcoin, we are at a pretty good range. I mean, the fact that we are at a pretty strong support, as long as we don't come back down to this 104 and below, we should be good. So we should go ahead and continue to hold this range pretty well. But what we really want to go ahead and see, as I mentioned, we want to see this 107, 108 breakout happen. Once we do see that, we're going to go ahead and try to test this 111. And once we break that, guys, we are on to the races. And I think 125 is around the corner. So things are looking very positive for Bitcoin. Now, keep in mind, as I mentioned, still no actual full confirmation. This could always do the opposite, like a little bit of bad news could happen tomorrow or tonight, and then this thing's back down again. And it could be a massive bull trap, setting up all the bulls for a trap. So just keep that in mind. It's still on the table. So no things have been confirmed yet. So just be very, very cautious. But Bitcoin overall today is looking very positive, and I believe this positivity will continue on throughout the rest of the week. Of course, as I mentioned, there's a lot of tension right now with a lot of countries and the U.S. So don't expect this to be a surprise if we were to see some bad news. And then back we are with Bitcoin here, and this was a massive bull trap. So just be on the lookout for that. But so far, as I said, Bitcoin is looking really good. Let's go ahead and take a look at Ethereum. Taking a look at Ethereum, Ethereum's looking very, very positive. I'm not sure if any of you remember, but these last couple of weeks and these last streams we were talking about, I was mentioning that worst case scenario for Ethereum would be hovering at around this $2,100 range. And so far, we have been seeing this V-shaped recovery for Ethereum right now so far. Now, with Ethereum, almost at a very similar area where Bitcoin is at. Bitcoin's actually looking a lot more stronger than Ethereum is currently looking. But for Ethereum, we definitely do want to see this breakout at around this $2,500 range to enter back this strong support, which is currently a very strong area of resistance. So we really want to see Ethereum break above that $2,500 and hold. And our next area that Ethereum is going to go ahead and try to reattempt to break would be around this $2,800 range, which Ethereum has been struggling these last, it's almost been a month and something. I mean, since back right here at around May, Ethereum has been literally consolidating here for about 45 days. So 45 days, Ethereum has been hovering around this zone. So things are looking very positive for Ethereum. I am going to be waiting for this breakout, and I will be entering along. So just be on the lookout. Things are still not 100% certain yet of where things are going to go, but things are definitely looking a lot more positive than they were. I would say these last week. This last week at least, definitely looking a lot more positive. But it's pretty much it. That's really all we have for Ethereum. Like I said, there's not really much to go ahead and talk about the market. Today's Tuesday. It really almost felt like a Monday. I felt like Monday there wasn't really much activity going on with the market. Today, markets are looking a lot more positive. Now, the question is that we're going to be asking ourselves, will this continue to move forward? Let's see. Time will tell. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at CoinMarketCap together, just out of curiosity, just to go ahead and see what's going on in the market all over the place right now. So we do see a lot of green all across the board, as we talked about earlier, but let's see if we see any new tokens coming out. Let's see how the real world asset sector is doing. Yeah, we're seeing a little bit of excitement all across the board. Nothing too impressive regarding the market. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. I mean, there's not really much to go ahead and talk about, so I do not want to go ahead and take any of your time. It was really more of a quick session today. I was even considering to go live just because there's really not that much to talk about. I mean, it's the same repeated things. Literally, it's almost like I'm a broken record. That's just how the market works. You have to just be patient. You have to wait for those times to come, and then you go ahead and make a decision. Now, I will go ahead and say, I've been getting the question asked a lot. What should I go ahead and do during this time in the market? So for me personally, what I would recommend doing in the market right now, do not react like most people are. Most people right now are currently reacting to the market, meaning they're seeing a little bit of green. They're getting excited. They're like, oh, this is the dip that we need to buy. And everyone starts buying. So right now, I have bought a little bit of cryptos, but for the moment, I'm still mostly heavy on USDC. And the reason being is just because due to the fact that there's still no full-on confirmation either for Bitcoin or Ethereum or even the NASDAQ if we're going to see that continuation to the upside. I do believe we're going to get that sign by the end of the week. Now, keep in mind, it could even get dragged out for another week or two. But I do believe by the end of the week, we can, at least by this end of this week, we should be seeing that breakout of the NASDAQ, which should go ahead and bring in some momentum towards crypto. But keep in mind for the NASDAQ, this is a very strong area of resistance. So this is not going to be an easy area to break, but best believe once we do break this, we're going to see a nice little rally continue for the rest of the market. So currently right now, what I would recommend, if you have cash ready to deploy as well, don't get aggressive. Don't do what most people are going to do. Most people are going to start just piling and throwing money into the market, thinking that this is exactly the bottom. But what I would recommend to do is just slowly ace yourself into a position. Like let's say, for example, we have 20K, 40K, $10,000 of your capital just sitting there waiting on the sidelines. Throw in $1,000, throw in maybe $500, $300 into your positions, and slowly scale yourself into the position you want to get into. You never want to go ahead and jump into a position aggressively, meaning if you have like 100K of a token you want to buy, do not just go ahead and throw your full 100K. Like slowly scale yourself into that position until that position is worth that 100K. Never just place one order and let that be 100K. You want to slowly always scale into your position and always scale out as the market is going up, right? So that is one of my biggest recommendations right now. Do not react to what's going on in the market. Yes, things are looking very positive on the rebound that we've been seeing, but so far Bitcoin hasn't really broken any, major technicals. And then the same thing going on with Ethereum. There's not really much that has really happened. Like, yes, things are looking really good. We do have what this seems to be this V-shaped recovery, but also always keep in mind, we could always go ahead and see this. So for that reason, I'm not celebrating just yet. Like I said, in order for me to be a little bit more excited, celebrating would be around this 107, 108 that I want to see Bitcoin break above. And this right here is definitely going to signal that we're going to more than likely probably break this 112, which would bring a continuation to the upside to around like 120, 125, which we should be seeing a little rally on the rest of the market. Now, one thing I did want to mention is if we go over to DEX tools right now, and we go ahead and take a look at how the meme coin sector overall is doing right now, we're going to go ahead and see a lot of green. The meme coin sector is up like 40, 60, 30% for the day. You're going to go ahead and see a lot of green all across the board right now. Let's see. We'll time has now changed. Now it's basically a new day, so it's not going to show that data. But earlier this day today, earlier in the morning for me, there's a lot of green with a lot of tokens. One of them being Andy. Andy was over, 30-40%. As you see, this is 30%. It's really like around 40 something percent. But there's a lot of tokens right now. Mostly meme coins are getting a very positive reaction all across. But once again, I'm also right now just minimizing my risk just by holding off. I actually went ahead and dabbled with a liquidity pool today, which was a PAX G liquidity pool. I played with it. That is what I'm currently playing with at the moment. But if you are interested into getting liquidity pools, I would recommend checking out PAX G liquidity pools. That is one of the best ways to be exposed to the market with liquidity pools without too much risk to the upside or downside. Now, I do want to talk about Say actually real quick. Let's go ahead and take a look at Say, see how it's performing. We have this really nice pump to the upside on Say. Congratulations to everyone that bought that dip on Say. This is probably the best day that Say has seen in a very, very long time. But for Say right now, looking very positive. We do see that Say has entered an area of resistance, which technically just means an area where there's a lot of selling pressure occurring. So ideally, what we would want to go ahead and see for Say is we want to go ahead and see Say establish support. Where is Say going to establish support? I do not know. I would say maybe possibly around here. It should be around the 24 cents or as low as 21 cents. I think anywhere between these two zones, Say could drop and still be positive. Of course, ideally, if we could go ahead and hold the range where it's currently at right here, which is at resistance, if we could just see it consolidate here for a while before we see that breakout to the upside, so we could go ahead and test this $42,000, or sorry, not 42,000, 42 cent range. Things are going to look very positive for Say, and I do expect Say to go from where it's at right here, reaching a price target of over 70 cents. So for all of you that have been waiting and looking for a hidden gem, I've been pretty open about Say. I've been mentioning Say for a very long time. And I mentioned how once we start to see a little bit more positivity, more momentum, Say is going to do that times what other tokens do, right? Because it's very, 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 very relatively low right now. I feel like not that many people are paying attention to Say anymore. But after this pump, I've heard a lot of people talk about Say. So it's definitely catching some attention. But for Say right now, at the moment, it does look like we possibly be forming a double bottom pattern right here, which is a very positive pattern. So we're going to go ahead and see how that acts. As I mentioned right now, we just want to see where support is being held. So Say would be one I would recommend you check out. Another one that's a pretty good one to consider is Uni. We'll talk a little bit about Uni right now. So we go ahead and take a look at Uni right here. Uni right now seems to be at almost a near resistance. So if you could get Uni under $7, I think this is definitely a token you could consider loading up to. But right now for Uni, also definitely does look like we are entering an uptrend now. So it looks like the downtrend is finally over. So this for me would confirm that Uni will be out of this downtrend once we see a break above this $8 for Uni. We should be seeing a continuation to the upside, and our next target will be $10. So I would recommend all of you consider Uni. The reason why is because Ethereum and Uni move relatively very similar. So when Ethereum does very well, Uni is going to outperform Ethereum, and vice versa. When Ethereum takes a hit, Uni is going to take a pretty big hit. So Uni is a decentralized exchange token. They have grown their platform a lot. I'm very impressed by Uniswap, honestly. I spelled Uniswap wrong. Make sure you spell it right. You don't want to click on the wrong website. But uniswap.org is a platform. You will go ahead and see right here. If you go over to pools, you're going to be able to see a few pools at around all right here at the moment. Let's see. I guess you would have to go ahead and create your positions. Top pools. Uni has some really, really good pools. Like I mentioned, I would recommend checking out the PAX G one. I got into this one earlier. It was either this one or the USDC one. I would more than likely do like a PaxG USDC or a stable coin, or I know Tyler is doing an AIX or something like that. But for any of you that are our members, I will be having office hours in a few minutes. So if you guys are interested into more liquidity pools on PaxG, which is gold, I will definitely go ahead and share that link with you guys. I do have a spreadsheet that Rumis, shout out to Rumis, put together with PaxG liquidity pools. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Those are my two picks that I would go ahead and leave you with. It would be Uni, and I would say Say. Say is a pretty good one to consider. And the most important one that I would really recommend you all check out is XRP. XRP, a lot of people are underestimating XRP. I think XRP is a position you can't go wrong with. So if you haven't bought into XRP, I would consider getting XRP anytime. I would say as long as you can get XRP under this $2.50, you could be at a pretty good zone. So XRP is currently at 218. So at around anything under 250 for XRP, in my opinion, is a pretty good solid buy. Of course, XRP still needs to break some ranges. We need to break above $2.30 and then $2.50 before we see $3 again. But things are looking very positive in the market. If you are within the XRP Maxi group, shout out to all of you. You must be holding on to XLM as well. And if you're not, XLM is part of the whole entire cross-border payments with XRP. So a lot of you XRP holders probably already know this, but for all of you that are brand new and you're like, John, XRP has pumped a lot, I feel like I'm late to that party, consider checking out XLM. XLM is basically like XRP on steroids. If we were to go ahead and compare XRP and XLM, they're going to look almost fairly identical to one another. Let's go ahead and pull that together. So this is XRP right here at the top, this red. Of course, it's not going to go ahead and show it exactly because they don't have the same supply and things like that. But anyways, for XLM, as you see, it's literally almost following the same exact movements that XRP is. Like this is XRP right here at the top. You see that goes up, goes down. Currently XRP is right here. Same thing with XLM, goes up, goes down, currently right here. So what that basically means is that if XRP goes past this $3 zone for, let's just say it goes past $3, you're going to definitely see XLM outperform possibly XRP. So XLM is like a leverage position on XRP basically. So it's a beta play. So if you guys are XRP holders, believe in XRP, or have been hearing the hype about XRP, you must also consider holding on to XLM. It's the same narrative and might as well make some money on that too. I mean, XRP is going to perform very well. I think XLM is also going to be one of those tokens that a lot of people are currently not paying attention to right now, but will also perform very well with XRP. But with that being said, guys, it was just a quick little stream I wanted to go ahead and talk about today. For all of you that are in our private community, I will be seeing you shortly in a few minutes, I believe about 20 minutes. I'll be seeing you there. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. And for all of you, if you are new to the channel, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and I will be going live with our co-host Tristan on Thursday. So hopefully Thursday we have a lot more news to talk about. As I mentioned, not really much going on today. It's really not much in the market to talk about. There's still some key areas we need to see those breakouts happen. So quick little stream. With all that being said, guys, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. And for all of you that are in our private community, I'll go ahead and be catching you in a few minutes. All right. See you guys all soon, and I'll see you all on Thursday.